Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Charlie Morgan here and welcome to another video for the YouTube channel. This is the brutal reality of running a marketing agency. And today I want to walk you through some truths because there's a lot of lies, right? Conveniently on YouTube and elsewhere in the agency space. There's a lot of lies, okay? Running an agency is fucking hard, all right? It's difficult. And in today's video, I'm going to explain why it's hard and I'm going to tell you basically the truth. The reason that you think running an agency is easy, or the reason that you've started an agency and what you're experiencing is not in alignment with what you expected in terms of it being difficult, is because people have sold you courses on how to start an agency telling you it's easy, right? And so you've got expectation, you've got reality, we've got that old cliche that we see on Instagram, right? But it's actually a pretty strong metaphor here because running an agency, it kind of sucks and it's difficult, and the first 1 to 3 years are painful and they're difficult and they're not very nice, they're not very pleasant. It's going to take you, and it's like starting an agency is like putting your body in a washing machine and then just turning it on. Like, you're going to get thrown about all over the place, your emotions are going to go haywire, it's not fun, right? Now the rewards after a few years of pain can be great. But what I want to do in today's video is tell you the truth and explain why running an agency is hard. And I'm just going to walk you through the brutal reality of running an agency. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got some points on my trusty legal pad here. And I'm just going to sort of like hop into Miro on my laptop and just go through the brutal reality of running an agency. Now, a caveat to this video, I sell a course that helps people grow marketing agencies, right? I'm not here to try and sell it to you. If anything, I'm probably not doing myself a favor by telling you this, but I'd rather you know what you're in for when you try to start one, or you sort of navigating the path of trying to scale one. Because it's just difficult, right? It's like, well, once you've got skills and knowledge, it becomes a lot easier. But in those early days, it really is not much fun, okay? And I can attest to that, and most of my clients can attest to that, and I'm here to tell you the truth because other course sellers will tell you it's easy and they'll tell you to expect little resistance and lots of reward. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're going to have to eat shit for basically 2 years, 3 years before you even start to see any rewards. It is possible to go from 0 to 10, 20, 30 grand a month quickly with the model, but only if you've got previous experience or if you're actually some sort of genius, right? Took me, I think, about 6 to 8 months to get to 10 grand a month, but that was only because I had a horrific amount of cold calling experience and I just dialed and dialed. But let's hop into Miro. I'm going to walk you through, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7 to 10 points. I haven't really got much of a structure with the video, but I'm going to keep it organic, hop into Miro, and I will see you in there. All right, hey everybody, how's it going? So let's hop in. Let me just turn my speaker off here. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about the brutal reality of running an agency. If you embark on a journey that is painful by the conditions of reality, and you do not foresee or expect that pain, then you will be taken by surprise. And if someone's taken by surprise, it's a good indication that their expectations of reality are skewed enough. And it's not your fault that you are in this situation where you expected something to be easy and now it's not very easy at all. In fact, well, it kind of is your fault because everything's your fault in your own personal life. However, I'm here to just remedy this and just basically break down some fucking truth, right? Because the truth is that building and growing a marketing agency from scratch with no previous experience is fucking hard work. It's tough. It's possible, right? It's entirely doable and you can make it work, but you have to work like a dog for years, okay? And the breakthroughs, understand the breakthroughs you have will not be business breakthroughs, they will be personal mindset breakthroughs. All of the progress you make in your first 0 to 10, 20, 30 grand a month, going from 0 to 7 or not even to 7 figures, but going from 0 to 6 or multi-6 figures and then 7 figures, it's all mindset, it's all character, right? It's who you become. So that's the first thing, is the brutal reality of running an agency is it's all about you, right? If you have issues, personal issues, if you don't have good character traits, if you are a bad person, if you are lazy, if you are impatient, if you can't control your emotions, if you struggle with doing the work. All of these things are personal attributes, and they have to be fixed if you want to make a business work. Because a business is by its nature an extension of you. And you are your character, you are your identity, your sense of self, your self-image, your collection of beliefs, your paradigms, your proclivities, right? And I'm telling you now, you can have everything together, but if you've got a character trait, if you're impatient, or if you lack empathy, or if you don't have the ability to balance yourself out, you're going to fuck everything up. Now, this is natural. And the great thing about starting a business is it allows you to manifest a character and a sense of self that is completely different from the person that you once were. But what has to happen is you have to change you, right? And when you change you, you're going to lose people, right? This is the first thing to note, is that when you start embarking on your journey to start an agency, you're going to lose friends. Lots of friends will leave you. You might even lose some family members along the way, right? They will leave and they will not want to talk to you. Because when you start an agency, when you start a business, you challenge the perception of reality that the average person holds. And what happens is you start to behave out of alignment with their paradigm and their way of seeing the world. And the worst thing is that when it starts working, they'll just not believe, they'll just think you're scamming people. So the first thing you have to accept is that you have to change, right? That's the thing, is you, it's all about you and who you are and your mindset. And I promise you, you might not think this now. You might think, no, it's just about the business. I just need a piece of copy. Dude, like when people are like, oh, I just need an email copy and I'm fine. Like I know there's some serious mindset issues there, because like you don't fix a business in its entirety with a subject line or a piece of email copy. You don't, I promise you, right? So that's the first thing, is the first brutal reality is you're going to change, and when you change, the people around you won't, and if they don't have much tolerance for you or your changes, then you will lose them, and to be honest, good riddance. I've got friends, I hope so, right? But I've got plenty of friends who I don't talk to anymore, who just completely stopped talking to me, and I've got some of them, a select few that stuck around, and I love them to bits. If you're watching this, guys, you know who you are. Shout out to Tom, shout out to Will, etc., etc. I love you guys. But that's the first thing. It's all about you. So what I'm going to do is hop in here, and we're going to sort of type out some bits and pieces here. So that's why I wanted to go through the first thing, is just it's about you, because like it's not about like the email copy, it's not about the zaps that you're using, it's not about the funnels you're using, it's just about your mindset, your beliefs, and who you are. And if you're not willing to change that, then no amount of funnels or copy will save your life, right? So let's begin with this bad boy. Acquisition is not an easy skill to learn. It's a skill, right? Client acquisition is a skill. And how do we define it as a skill? Well, acquisition and client acquisition is nothing but applied knowledge of human psychology and behavior, the understanding of behavior and human nature. If you want to get people to book appointments with you, then you have to get them to agree to talk to you. And if you want to get someone to agree with you, then that opens up an entire realm of psychological knowledge that you need to have about how humans work, what their biases are, what makes them tick. And if you can understand that, you can acquire clients. Because client acquisition is nothing but getting a human being to pay you money because they think that what you have could be something that removes them from a painful situation in their life. Now, that sounds easy, right? It sounds uncomplicated. It sounds nice and simple, but human beings are anything but simple. And if you don't understand them, then you're fucked. So client acquisition, the reason most people get it wrong is not because they have the wrong copy. It's not because they have anything wrong. It's because they just don't understand human beings. And so if you want to make money in business, and you want to get lots of clients, the most reliable way to do it is to become extremely good at understanding psychology and become extremely good at like understanding behavior economics and persuasion and cognitive biases. And what will happen over time is you'll be able to take that knowledge and apply it to your business and your agency, and you'll acquire clients. Now, here's the thing. It takes a lot of fucking time to acquire that knowledge. It takes even more time to learn how to apply it properly. So it's one thing understanding how the reason-respecting tendency works in psychology. It's another thing figuring out how to weave it into your email copy or your sales scripts. So acquisition by its nature is not like, appointment booking doesn't really exist as an action or as a thing. What appointment booking actually is an understanding of your niche and the human beings in that niche, and understanding why they start making decisions to do things that you want them to do, and then figuring out how to expose them to information and stimulus or stimuli that lead to them coming to that conclusion on their own, right? So that's the first thing, is acquisition is fucking hard because human beings are hard to understand, right? So the brutal reality of client acquisition is that a piece of copy won't save your life. Sure, it might work for a while, but if you don't understand how humans work, then no appointment booking system you ever build or sales system you ever build will actually be built to last. So that's the first thing, right? Now, here's the interesting thing, guys. Client retention is even harder than client acquisition. So if you're struggling with acquisition, boy, oh boy, you wait until you start getting clients. It will be dropping off like flies. And the thing is with this is that over time, when you've been running an agency for a couple of years, you start to get quite good at what you do. For the first 1 to 2 years of your service, you're probably not going to be very good, right? So you're going to sign clients, feel great, and then you're going to lose them. That's going to happen to you, right? I promise you. You might think it's not going to happen because you might think you've got, a media buyer that God himself placed on the earth in front of you, but you're going to lose clients, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to suck, right? I've lost clients. My clients have lost clients. My business partner has lost clients. You've probably lost clients. It's not fun, right? And it happens a lot more than you keep, right? So the only way to solve retention is to be good at what you do, which means acquiring knowledge and acquiring skills, and then learning how to apply those skills and knowledge to the solution that your niche is, the problem that your niche is experiencing, to create a solution and create value. That takes time, right? You can't just snap your fingers, put an ad on Facebook, and then get clients' results. It used to work, but nowadays you actually have to know what the fuck you're doing, right? And so once again, client retention itself isn't really a thing. It's just an applied knowledge of how to actually deliver results for clients. And if you want to learn how to deliver results for clients, you have to become extremely good at what you do. Now, do not think you can start an agency and just go and hire a media buyer and go and sit on a beach. It doesn't work, right? It's very, very rare that you find someone that can actually run your business for you. And when you're actually outsourcing results, that's the most important thing to an agency, is the results you get for clients. And most people just don't want the pain of doing it and learning it themselves, and so what they do is they just hire a media buyer, and then they just leave the media buyer to it, and in media buyers we trust, they tell themselves, and then they lose clients, and then the media buyer's like, oh, I don't know why that happened, trust me, I'm an expert. You have to learn how to do the thing yourself, right? It's the same with acquisition. I've never, ever, ever come across a done-for-you appointment booking system that actually works, right? And that's saying a lot, because I've been pitched by lots of people and I've tried lots of them just to see if they work or not. Acquisition is something that you have to learn yourself before you can outsource to other people. I know you want a nice, easy, done-for-you solution for both of these things, but they don't exist. Now, they might exist, but not in my experience. And I've been looking for them for fucking years, right? So be very careful of anyone that tells you they can do done-for-you appointment booking. And be very careful of anyone that says they can do done-for-you results. Now, people to help with client retention are easier to find than acquisition. They're possible to find. I'm sure they exist, right? But in my experience, if you want to, you cannot outsource what you don't understand. Okay? If you are running a business and you have people working for you and you don't understand their role better than they do, then how the hell are you supposed to manage, coach, support, and troubleshoot their jobs? You can't. This is like when people start an agency and they're like, okay, I bought this course. All I'm going to do is hire an appointment setter, a media buyer, and a sales rep, and then I'm going to let them do the jobs, then manage them, and it'll be great fun. And then the appointment setter's like, oh, I don't know what copy should I use, or where should I find the leads? And then the sales rep's like, oh, I keep running into this objection, or I'm going to try and sell it for less money because I don't think it's going to work. And then the media buyer's like, oh, how do I do this thing? You need to understand the entire pipeline, right? From lead to client, you need to understand how every single system works, because if you don't, you're going to start hiring people who might know a little bit more than you, but they don't understand the full picture. So acquire the knowledge yourself. You can hire people to help you in the early days if you want to start getting some decent results. You can hire a media buyer immediately, but you need to stay on top of the service delivery to make sure you learn it yourself, because in the long term, you need to know it yourself. You don't have to do it yourself in the long term, but you need to know it, because well, what happens if that media buyer just suddenly leaves and then you've got 8 clients on your hands and you've got no idea how to support them? Build things. The most what would you call it? Like the best contingency in business is yourself. So like what if you've got a sales rep and then suddenly like the sales rep leaves and then you don't know how to sell? Like you need to know how to pick everything up. Your lead sourcer one day can't source leads, you need to go know how to source leads, right? Everything needs to be done yourself. It's not fun. Acquisition and retention, they do suck in the early days. They're possible to get right, and when you get them right, boy oh boy is it a sweet thing, but they take a long time. Now, the other thing is competition, right? Competition on offer is the biggest problem in the current agency space. When you start an agency, you're up against people who have already been doing it for a long time. Now, don't get discouraged by that, because you can create value and you can outcompete and you can win. However, you have to realize that if you're not good at what you do, you're not going to be able to offer better than what the other people are offering. And the only thing it really comes down to is the offer. So I see this manifest in e-commerce where like right now, like the average sort of offer in e-com is we can help you get like a 3x ROAS on a pay and results basis, and we'll work on commission, or we'll actually grow your store by 30% in 90 days, or you get your money back. These are the offers that are starting to manifest, and if you haven't got the skill or the competence to compete with that level of confidence, then you will not win. Now, you can acquire the skill and the competence to do that, but we've got to understand that the agency space, ladies and gentlemen, is moving away from the retainer model. We are moving away from the retainers and we are moving towards pay on result. Now, that might be pay per lead, might be pay per appointment. It could even be pay when someone gets paid. But you've got to know that gone are the days where you can just charge $2,000 a month, set up a couple of Facebook ads and then sit back and relax. It doesn't work anymore. You're up against lots of people. Now, competition is a good thing because it's a sign of life, right? But you've got to realize that saturation doesn't really exist. The only thing that gets saturated is a niche when the offer becomes like, when people say like a niche is saturated, it's just an indication that they're not as good as the people they're up against, if that makes sense. So I have a friend called Zach, and he runs an e-com agency, and the motherfucker pays people to come on board. He'll be like, yeah, I'll pay you like $1,000 to work with us because I know the ROAS deal we set up will make me way more than $1,000. Can you compete with Zach? Probably not, but that's okay because, there's only so many clients you can acquire as an agency. So these big, great offers aren't going to go mad, but you need to realize that it really is difficult to build value and it's going to take a lot of time. The reason I'm recording this video is not to put you off running an agency. It's just to actually tell you what to expect and what your expectations should be, right? And you won't want to hear this, and you'll probably have already clicked off if you haven't. Congratulations, you're actually listening to someone telling you the truth. Most people don't want to hear the truth. Most people would rather bury their head in the sand. But offer, like if you're in the lead gen space and you're not able to work on a pay per appointment basis because you don't know how, then you need to learn how. It takes time, it takes pain, it takes effort. Okay. Agencies do not scale. Try building an agency past 7 figures; it will break your heart. I promise you, because once you've got I've had my marketing agency, Northside Consulting. Between my business partner and I, we used to manage 64 clients at our peak. Doing just under 100k a month in revenue, and that's 64 headaches. It's 64 very painful experiences. You do not want a business with a huge volume of clients like that where they're paying you like $1,000 to $2,000 a month. It's manageable when you got 20 of them, 30 of them, but when you double that, when you triple that, Christ, it's painful, it hurts, and you have to start hiring a team, and then you have to start cutting into your margins, and you have to start doing all this crap. And sure, I know agencies out there that scale to 200, 300k a month. It's fine, but I can tell you that the agency making 200k a month is probably making the same amount of money as the agency making 50k a month in profit, right? Because there's diminishing marginal returns on a done-for-you agency once you get past that sort of 50 to 100k a month mark, as your profit margins just start cutting in. And then what happens is at 200k a month, you're doing double the work for the same amount of money than if you were making 100k a month in terms of what you take home. So it doesn't scale. I promise you can try it if you want to, but this is why we sell coaching programs, because they're much more scalable and they actually get results and help people. Now, the other thing is piece of the pie, right? What this means is that you've got to realize that when you're running a marketing agency, you're solving a small problem in a huge chain of problems. So what I mean by this is when let's say you've got, I don't know, let's say you've got a gym, right, for example. Then if you're generating the leads for the gym, then they also need to get appointments, they also need to get shows, then they need to get sales, then they need to retain. So here's the thing, is like, if you're getting them leads, you're only solving them like one piece of this complicated puzzle. So it's the same with like ecom, right? You know, you've got like, you can get them as much traffic as your heart desires, but if they're not converting like on their store, or there's no product market fit, then like you're not going to get them any results. You'll get the traffic, but then they'll get blocked at this point here where there's no conversions or no product market fit. But going back to this gym example, it's like, you need to learn how to get leads, but then you need to learn how to get those leads to appointments. You need to learn how to get those appointments to show. You need to learn how to help your clients sell, and you need to help your clients retain. Because this is the true way you add value, is by fixing the entire business. Most businesses are fucked, right? And that's why they need help with marketing. The first thing they turn to when they're not growing is leads. Like, we need more leads. We need more leads. Businesses that are really hungry for leads, that aren't making lots of money and aren't very profitable, often are misplacing their attention when like the real issue is that they can't sell or they can't retain. So like, you can get them as many leads, you can get them as many appointments, you can get them as many shows, but if their sales team ain't working, or if their sales team's amazing, but then they lose like every member you get them, the member leaves after a month, then guess who they're going to blame? They're going to blame you, the agency, because, well, they're too pain avoidant and narcissistic to admit that they're at fault. So they'll just say, oh no, well, the members we're signing were from your leads, and that means that it's your fault. And this is what happens, and it happens time and time again, and the only way to solve it is to learn how to fix the whole pie, not just a piece. Now, once again, that takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of pain, it takes a lot of effort. And if you're not willing to put that pain and effort in, well, I've got news for you, you're going to struggle, right? Is that even a word? Passivity? Basically, what I'm trying to say here is, passive income from an agency is pretty much impossible for most people. The reason behind this is because, well, you can build a passive agency. I mean, I could start a 10K a month agency, outsource the whole thing, and then leave it to run in 30 days. I could do that without any issue. But the only reason I've got that luxury is because I've been doing it for like 6 years, right? You have to realize that if you want your agency to become a vehicle for a lifestyle, then you need to understand the mechanisms of it deeper than anyone else, and you need to know how to do it, and you need to have been doing it for probably like 2.5, 3, 4, 5 years before you can go and sit on a beach somewhere. The reason behind this is because, well, to have an agency run passively, you need a team, but you can never really have a passive team because you need to manage the team, and there's always going to be problems, and you're always going to have to troubleshoot shit, and you're always going to run into issues. So like, do not expect your agency to become a vehicle for a lifestyle where you can do nothing, because it doesn't work. It's not affiliate marketing, right? Because you're selling your own product, your own service. And like, trust me, it's possible to get this thing to the point where it's pretty much automated, but it's completely impossible to get it completely automated. There will always be management, there will always be problems, and the buck will always stop with you, okay? So let go of that little dream you got. It's possible to do it, but it takes fucking years of work to really build something standard. The reason behind this is because you need to acquire talent, and talent is only attracted to talent. And what I mean by that is that if you're not great at sales, you're not going to attract great salespeople. Simple. If you're not great at media buying, you're not going to attract great media buyers, because great attracts great, right? And so to become great, we have to spend a lot of time becoming great, and we can't just expect the 10K a month agency in like 4 months and it's going to run itself. It doesn't happen. All right, guys. And I don't want this to be, like I said, I don't want it to be a discouragement thing, but you need to realize that you're building a 6-figure or multi-6-figure enterprise that adds value, solves problems, and has a team. Right, you're building an income for yourself that is parallel to doctors and surgeons that spend almost 7 to 10 years in training. You can't do that in under 6 months, right? I mean, I managed to do it in 6, but like, it's very unlikely that you're going to build a 6 or multi-6-figure business in a year and then have it run itself. Now, it's likely you'll do it if you accept the fact it's going to take 3 or 4 years of extremely hard work and long hours and huge change in yourself. But I just want you to realize that it's possible. It just takes a lot of fucking time, and the time is the pain, right? Because you want it quickly. What else have I got here? To be honest, I think that might be it. Those are the main points. It's not like you have to really love the pain. This is the problem. Like, business is synonymous with pain. I don't mean physical pain. I mean true mental pain. I mean, like, you're up against yourself, basically. You've got to grow yourself. You're going to have to put yourself through the motions of trying to start and grow a company. It's not easy. You haven't done it before, right? Don't get discouraged by this video, right? Just become more, like, you might feel like you watched this video now and now you're like, oh, why should I start an agency? Well, dude, once you get it right, you can have anything. Like, money will no longer be a problem for you. You just have to be willing to go through that rocky cutscene of like 3 or 4 years of eating shit, basically. And if you're not willing to do that, then you'll really struggle. So if you want an actual practical example of this, if you hop onto YouTube, and you're probably on my channel at the moment, if you go to my videos here and you find, where is it here? Go and find this video. It's called College Dropout to 7-Figure Agency Owner, My Story. And this will explain like the shit. Like, you know, I'm doing like 195k a month at the moment, and I started when I was 17. I'm now 24, just turned 24. So it's taken me 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, right? It's taken me like 5 or 6 years to build a multi 7-figure business, and it really isn't easy. It takes time, it takes work, guys. Like, you know, you might watch my YouTube videos and think, oh, it comes so naturally and Charlie just makes all this money and it's great, but like, I'm sitting on 5 years, like half a decade of pain, right? There's no talent here. I'm not like a genius. I'm not magical. I've got no inborn talents. I'm just able to tolerate an awful lot of work, and that's really the only thing you need to be able to do. You just need to be able to accept the fact that it's going to be really hard, it's going to take a long time, and that no 997 course telling you what you want to hear is going to solve the problem for you. Okay. The other thing is, like, I mean, the industry is a bit fucked because like I'll talk to people through Imperium. So, like, I used to do the sales calls for Imperium Agency, which is our agency coaching business. And I remember this would happen all the time, like, where I'd talk to someone for the program and they'd hop on the call and then they'd say they've got all these issues and these big problems and they can't get clients and they can't sell and they can't keep clients and all this, and the mindset's fucked. It's fine. And I'd see them and I'd talk to them and I'd pitch them and then they wouldn't buy for whatever reason. And then a month, 2 months later, they're somehow teaching other people how to start and grow an agency. So you have to be very, very, very careful and prudent with who you choose to mentor you. Now, I'm not telling you to work with me. You can make that decision on your own based on the value of my content and the results that we've achieved for clients. I don't like, you make your own decisions. I'm not here to try and like, I'm not trying to sell my program by putting down other people's programs. That's not how I want to do business, and I don't really believe in, like, I wouldn't call it defamation, but I'm not going to name anyone, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you should buy my program because everybody else is. That's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to make you realize is that finding someone that's trustworthy, that you can actually like rely on to build value and truly solve your problem, is not an easy task. And you've got a friend in me, but at the same time, use your own judgment and just be very, very, very fucking careful of who you decide to get mentorship from. Be careful of me. Be careful of everyone, right? You know, like, just treat me as if you treat everybody else. Just because you watch my video, you might be a fan, whatever that looks like, of the channel, and you're thinking about buying our course or whatever. Treat our program and our course with the same skepticism that you would treat some random person reaching out to you on Facebook telling you they can get you to 10 grand a month when they've clearly not done it themselves. Right, do your diligence and be careful, because there is help and you can get support and knowledge from people who have done it, right? And it's possible to get support and knowledge from people who have done it, which will speed up the process and reduce the learning curve and reduce the pain, right? However, you just have to be very skeptical and very careful from who you buy from, because I've seen some real shit, I'll tell you that. But that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's a bit of a brutal one and it's just more of like a pretty, like, well, it sucks basically. Building a marketing agency in the first couple of years is hard fucking work, and it's not easy, and you need to expect that, because if you don't expect it, then, well, discouragement manifests when expectations are not in alignment with reality, and discouragement creates a lack of action, which obviously then creates more discouragement, which then eventually leads you to quitting. And we don't want you to quit. That's why I'm recording this video. So keep going, don't quit, tuck your chin, and fucking crack on and keep going. And I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed it, you can subscribe, you can like the video, and if you want to add anything, you can comment. I'd like that. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.